All right, time now to talk about Liberty Flames football and the early signing period. For more on that, we catch up now with the head coach of the Flames, Turner Gill. And, Coach, it's a little bit unusual to be talking about signing day in December, the first time that college football has introduced the early signing period. How has that affected recruiting and just overall the process of the coaching staff in the offseason?
Well, the process has been definitely different to a certain extent. I think it's a good thing for both sides. When I say both sides, talking about the actual student athlete and the parents, and then obviously us as the coaches and the university. I think it's good for both sides that we can get it over with. There's a lot of people who have already said, hey, I'm going to go to Liberty University. So I might as well go ahead and sign the papers here in December versus waiting another 4 to 5 weeks later. So once that all gets done, they're solidified. It saves us from a financial standpoint going out in January, continue to kind of, we use the phrase maybe babysitting, so to speak, so we don't have to do that as much. I think it's just a little bit more confident. But again, there are going to be some unintended consequences as we go through this because again, it's the first time from a coach's perspective and then also from a player's perspective and high school coaches, a lot of things that are going on there. So I think there's still some things to work through, but I think it's a plus overall for everybody included through this December signing period.
And, of course, we'll still have the February signing period as well, so this isn't a finalized class yet. There could still be some other guys and probably will sign in February as well. Just your feelings overall on this class and who has signed so far, and do you feel like that you've met some of your targeted needs and goals?
Well, I think the biggest need that we're talking about is really depth, and the depth is automatically coming as we go into FCS to FBS. Technically, you end up having 22 scholarships. I want to say thank you really from Jerry Falwell Jr., Ian McCall, and all the people involved. They're allowing us to get to 85 in 1 year, and that's a challenge. I mean, you can get scholarships, don't get me wrong, but you're trying to make sure you get the right ones in this short period of time. So we do need the depth. Also, the other thing was just getting speed. We want to go get a little bit more defensive linemen, more offensive linemen, particularly get more depth in those areas. But there's a lot of areas we hit. But I say the main thing is going to probably jump out when it all adds up as far as not only just here in the December early signing period, but also in the February, that we're going to have quite a few more big guys there to gain depth in those areas. So I'm excited about a lot of guys. Again, it's an excitement for a lot of the families, the coaches, and all of us. So we enjoyed it. It definitely has helped us. I can sit here and say the Baylor win was a big conversation throughout the country. It was definitely all over the country, from California all the way down to Florida and up to New Jersey or wherever. That was a conversation that was always brought up more by them than us. So it gained more exposure. It gave them an opportunity to look at Liberty a little bit more seriously, and that was the purpose. And so we've definitely have gotten in on a lot of guys in the past that we didn't have a chance to even have a conversation with. And so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, let's not wait any longer. Let's talk about some of these guys here that have made their commitment here to Liberty early on. Specifically from the offensive line standpoint, there's some guys that kind of jump off the page here in terms of size and just overall ability that we have not seen in a Liberty signing class before. Guys like a Jacob Bodden will start there out of Hoover, Alabama, 6'5", 320 pounds, two-star recruit according to Rivals. What can you tell us about him?
Well, Jacob is a guy who's been a winner. The Hoover program has been outstanding over many, many, many years. Great place where people are definitely in tune with the Christian values. He can play a lot of different positions, center, guard, tackle, or whatever, and we may be looking more for him on the inside. But they pull him a lot, and so that was exciting for us to see him pull and do a lot of things. And we're just glad he's on our side because I think he's going to be a very, very impactful guy. We'll see how he comes in and compete. But he'll have a chance.
Joining him on that offensive line, you've got another young man named Henry Chibuzi. You have to correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, Henry Chibuzi there.
Chibuzi, yes.
He's up north here in Northern Virginia.
Right.
Come from an outstanding program there in the Woodbridge area there. And size is definitely a huge thing. But the thing about him is all our guys are athletic, even though how big of their size is. We wanted people that can move around and do a lot of good things. And I think he can be a very impactful guy right from the start.
Yeah, Chibuzi out of Woodbridge, Virginia, as you mentioned, three-star recruit according to Rivals, had offers from several FBS programs as well. Jonathan Graham, 6'5", 325 pounds. And then Brendan Schlittler from Missouri, 6'5", 305. He's a two-star kid. Tell us about those two young men.
Well, Graham there and Slittler are very, very outstanding. They fit to what we're talking about. They got the height, they got the length, they got the athletic ability. They have a little toughness about them there too, and they like to do some things there against the defensive lineman there. They like the one-on-one battles. They've shown some things there that they can block at the second level. So we really feel good about this offensive line coming in here, and I think it's going to be a great future for us with that group of guys.
Staying on the offensive side, let's turn now to the skill positions of wide receiver. That was the other heavy area here on the offensive side that we saw you guys turn to in the recruiting. Noah Frith out of Woodstock, Georgia, also a pretty good basketball player at his high school as well. And then Sean Queen out of Stockbridge, Georgia. A couple Georgia boys here. You can never have too many of those. Sean Queen, of course, has Liberty ties. His dad played receiver here in the 80s. Two-star kid, and Queen had offers from Syracuse and Wake Forest on the table as well. How are you able to land these two young men?
Well, those guys are fantastic as far as people, number one. Then number two, they have some great skill set. So our coaching staff did a great job in the state of Georgia. We added one or two more coaches there in that area here last year, and it's paid off for us. People in Georgia have really done a great job here on our football team. Noah has some good length, guy that's very athletic, can go up and catch a football. Sean Queen has great speed, great athleticism, great hands. I'm going to throw in Mom, too, though. Mom came in here and ran track also here at Liberty, so I don't want to leave her out as far as being a part of the Liberty family. So they're all in, a tremendous athlete and a tremendous competitor, both of those guys.
And staying with the receivers, J.T. Wood out of Jacksonville, Florida, two-star recruit. And then Kevin Shaw from Oakland, California, City College, San Francisco transfer that could come in here right away and make an impact. Those young men had some offers on the table. Wood, especially from Army and Navy, I see that. And I'm thinking the kinds of receivers they recruit, those are some physical guys. Was there some physicality to his game that you liked?
Well, he has it all. He has good size. He has some physicality, but he also has good hands, very, very good hands there. And so we saw him there really in the Georgia area there, looking at a camp. I love what he's all about, tremendous competitor. He's played a lot of different positions, so that's great to see. He played a running back, he's played receiver, he's played some defensive side of the ball, and he's just a tremendous impact, has good size, so he can be an outside guy, he can be an inside guy, so he's going to fit very, very well in our offense.
And then at running back, Troy Henderson out of Franklin, Tennessee, 5'10", 180 pounds. Three-star recruit according to 24/7 Sports. Had an offer from Wake Forest and some other schools as well. 3,200 yards rushing over his last 3 years in high school. What kind of back is Henderson, and how much of an impact can he make right away?
Well, I think he can be a big impact. Again, I'm not going to say he's going to have all the things and come in here and start, but he has speed. He has a great explosiveness as far as once he hits the hole. I love his vision, tough guy, and he can have good speed.
One thing with the offensive side here, no quarterback signing here so far. Obviously, there's still a chance of that in February. Is that kind of what you're looking towards, or are you looking more towards next year there?
We're looking at the quarterbacks, a guy that can fit to what we're trying to get accomplished. We're still going to be evaluating people. We're out recruiting, and time will tell, and we're definitely looking for a quarterback.
Defensive side of the ball, on the defensive line, Logan Beatles, two-star Rivals recruit out of Piedmont, Alabama. Then Austin Lewis, a three-star kid as well. And these two young men, Beatles 6'3", 300 pounds, Lewis 6'6", 230. Coach, you got some big boys.
Well, I think the biggest thing there is agility. We're looking for guys that have size. They have an opportunity to grow in their length and their strength and their speed, and they can get after it. They're tenacious. Beatles there is a strong guy, tremendous wrestler, a very good competitor. Austin is really a guy that can do a lot of great things off the edge, man, has great speed. He's already a young guy that uses his hands very, very well. And obviously Coach Singletary, when he get a hold of him, they're going to be a tremendous, tremendous asset for our football program. And I'm looking forward to seeing them play here in our Flames uniform.
Can't leave out Devin Pearson as well, young man from California in junior college, from Ohio originally, I believe, but young man that had 4 sacks and 9 TFLs over his last 2 seasons, 80-plus tackles out there in junior college. Is he a guy that can come in and contribute right away?
Well, we're going to give him a chance to contribute. We need some defensive linemen, defensive tackles, particularly there, hit hard. I guess he's a guy that has good movement. Again, he can do things there. Sometimes the defensive tackle may not have all the numbers and all the stats per se, but they do their job, and where they can cause 2 people to block him. He's one of those kind of guys. 2 guys going to have to try to block him. If they don't, then he's going to be able to make plays, and then it makes our other defenders make good plays.
Well, it's a handful of the guys from this class so far that have signed here in December, the early period. One last question before I let you get going here, Coach. I did notice just looking at the areas here, a lot of attention seems to be focused on Alabama, Georgia, Florida. I haven't seen any Texas kids yet. Can we expect some of those to come? I mean, we've had a lot of kids out of the state of Texas here over the last few years, and was there more of an emphasis in those areas that I mentioned?
Well, I think we hit all over the country, so you sometimes have some big areas that you hit more people. It would probably more emphasized a little bit more in Georgia, if I had to say one area that was more hit than normal. We always hit it, but we did thoroughly get in there pretty thoroughly with a lot more people, a lot more coaches in the area. So, again, Texas, we always recruiting. There's still some things that we're looking at as far as in that area. California, like I said, a few of them in the junior college, we did go out there a little bit stronger than we had done in the past. And again, I think the exposure of the Baylor, Liberty University, nationally known too. And again, people don't mind traveling, they don't mind coming over here. And so they understand what our university is all about. And we have a good group of people that we're putting together. And this is just a start.
Coach, we appreciate the early signing update. Look forward to catching up with you again in February.
All right, to God be the glory.
That's the head coach of the Flames football team, Turner Gill. My name is Nick Pierce for the Liberty Flames Sports Network.